In a moment no one saw coming, the music world collided with the boxing ring, literally. A brutal altercation between rap icon Remy Ma and undefeated boxing champion Claressa Shields has shaken the internet to its core. What started as subtle shade turned into a fiery public showdown, and it was all caught on camera. At the center of this unexpected war? None other than Papoose, Remy Ma's longtime husband. But was this just a case of jealousy gone too far, or has something been brewing beneath the surface for months? Eyewitnesses claim the tension was palpable before fists even flew. Social media is erupting with theories, insiders are dropping receipts, and both fanbases are going head-to-head in defense of their queens. One thing's for sure, this wasn't a PR stunt. This was real, raw, and personal. And what happens next might just end careers. Long before punches were thrown and camera footage went viral, the tension between Remy Ma and Claressa Shields had been quietly simmering beneath the surface, like a ticking time bomb waiting for the wrong spark. To the public eye, both women were champions in their own right. Remy, the no-nonsense rap queen from the Bronx, known for her sharp bars and fearless attitude. Claressa, the undefeated boxing titan dubbed the GWOAT, greatest woman of all time, breaking barriers in the ring and commanding respect everywhere she walked. So how did two powerhouses from different worlds end up in a public, physical altercation that had even the most seasoned industry insiders stunned? It all began at a celebrity charity gala in Atlanta. The theme was Queens Giving Back, an event meant to highlight powerful women in music, sports, and entertainment who use their platforms to uplift others. Cameras were everywhere. Influencers mingled with artists. Paparazzi crowded the entrance like sharks smelling blood. It was the kind of night designed for viral red carpet moments and unexpected pairings. That night, Remy Ma arrived with her husband, Papoose, looking every bit the hip-hop royalty they're known to be. Her emerald green gown shimmered under the lights, and Papoose, in a matching tux, rarely let go of her hand. They were smiling, united, a couple that had weathered storms and come out stronger. Or so it seemed. Meanwhile, Claressa Shields made her own entrance, solo, bold, and completely unbothered. She wasn't there to impress anyone. She walked the carpet like she owned it, greeted a few fellow athletes, then headed inside. Few knew it at the time, but this wasn't the first time Remy and Claressa had crossed paths. Insiders had long whispered about growing tension between the two. Allegedly, they'd met months earlier during a mutual friends party in LA, where sparks didn't exactly fly. According to an eyewitness who spoke anonymously, Claressa made a comment about lyrical boxers being louder than actual champions, which Remy reportedly didn't take lightly. That comment, while brushed off as a joke at the moment, planted the seed. What added fuel to the tension was Papoose himself. In a 2023 podcast interview, he had praised Claressa's accomplishments, calling her one of the worst to ever step in a ring, male or female. While the comment was harmless on the surface, fans dissected every word. Edits of the clip circulated on social media, some even splicing in reaction shots of Remy from different events to create fake beef narratives. The internet, as usual, had already started a fire before anyone involved could even strike a match, but the night of the gala? That's when things turned real. By the time both women were seated inside, the energy was already shifting. People in the room, stylists, PR reps, artists, began whispering about a vibe. Claressa was seated only a few tables away from Remy and Papoose. At first, everything seemed cordial. Polite nods were exchanged. Drinks were poured. Applause filled the room as honorees were recognized. Then came the moment no one expected. During a short intermission, Claressa made her way over to Remy's table, allegedly to offer congratulations on a recent award Remy had won for her mentorship program. Multiple sources agree she smiled, leaned in, and said something that didn't sit right. What exactly was said? No mic caught it. But the expressions told a story. Remy's face shifted from grace to grit in seconds. Papoose leaned slightly forward, visibly tensing. Claressa raised an eyebrow, smirked, and walked off. A few heads turned. Someone pulled out a phone, but they weren't fast enough. That was round one. Silent, subtle, but heavy. The real explosion came an hour later, backstage. According to a leaked security report, Remy and Claressa encountered each other again as the show was ending. Guests were being escorted out, staff were breaking down equipment, and the hallway behind the main stage became a bottleneck of VIPs. That's when it happened. A security camera captured grainy footage, which would later be leaked to the press, of the two women exchanging heated words. In the video, Remy appears to be pointing at Claressa. Claressa steps forward. There's a shove. Then a blur of motion. A scuffle. Shouts. Two security guards rushed in to separate them. It lasts less than 15 seconds but feels eternal. By the time the footage made it to the internet, it had been clipped, captioned, and exaggerated beyond recognition. Twitter exploded. TikTokers recreated the scene. YouTubers dropped reaction videos within hours, but despite the noise, real questions remained. What exactly sparked the physical fight? Was it really about Papoose? Or was the tension between these two women building long before the cameras caught it? Some insiders believe it was about respect, or lack thereof. One industry rep claimed Remy felt like Claressa was disrespecting her marriage. She didn't like how Claressa was too friendly with Papoose at events. Claressa, on the other hand, doesn't play the fake game. If she's got something to say, she'll say it. Another added, there was definitely jealousy, not romantically, but in terms of spotlight. Both are alpha women used to being the center of attention. When they're in the same room, it's like trying to put two suns in one sky. And yet, fans were split. Some defended Remy fiercely. She's defending her marriage. Period. Claressa got bold, and she shut it down. Others sided with Claressa. She didn't throw the first punch. Remy got triggered by her own insecurities. Even more viewers asked, where was Papoose in all this? Oddly enough, Papoose had disappeared from the scene moments before the altercation happened. Some said he went to take a call. Others claimed he stepped away intentionally to avoid being part of any drama. His absence, however, only intensified the speculation. What no one expected, though, was for Papoose to post a cryptic message the next morning. A simple black and white quote image on his Instagram story: two women fighting over you doesn't mean you're a king. It means you're causing confusion. The internet went wild. Was he acknowledging the fight? Deflecting blame? Playing innocent? Even more interesting, Remy didn't repost it, and Claressa responded in her own way, tweeting, I don't fight over men. I fight for belts. Y'all better check the narrative. The saga was far from over. The lines were drawn, and the public was picking sides. And just when everyone thought the situation had peaked, another twist was about to drop, one that would involve leaked DMs, legal threats, and an unexpected ally entering the ring. Just hours after the footage of Remy Ma and Claressa Shields went viral, the internet morphed into a battlefield. Hashtags like hashtag Remy vs Claressa, hashtag not over Papoose, and hashtag Queens Don't Brawl took over Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Fans, haters, and influencers all weighed in, and within 24 hours, the situation had escalated from a private altercation to a full-blown public scandal. But it wasn't just commentary. It was chaos. By midday, several blogs posted alleged DMs exchanged between Claressa and Papoose over the past year. Screenshots showed what appeared to be friendly, even flirtatious, conversations. The messages weren't graphic, but the tone raised eyebrows. Claressa, you always got the realest words. Appreciate that, king. Papoose, you're a queen for real. Keep shining, sis. Were they innocent messages between friends? Or coded conversations that hinted at more? Remy Ma's camp denied the authenticity of the DMs almost immediately. A rep claimed the screenshots were heavily edited, fabricated, and designed to stir up controversy. But by then, the damage was done. The internet doesn't wait for facts. Papoose, normally quiet during controversies, remained silent aside from his cryptic story post. That silence fueled more theories. YouTubers began breaking down the timeline of Claressa's and Papoose's interactions. TikTokers did deep dives into past interviews, spotting subtle nods and gestures they believed pointed to underlying tension. One video comparing Remy and Claressa's past red carpet interactions gained over 3 million views in a day. The drama wasn't confined to fan theories, though. Legal threats began flying behind the scenes. Remy's legal team reportedly reached out to media outlets, warning them about defamation and false reporting. Meanwhile, Claressa's PR team doubled down, calling the narrative sexist and sensational. A representative stated, Claressa did not initiate violence. She's an athlete, not an instigator. The fact that she's being vilified for defending herself says more about the culture than the facts. VH1, where Remy Ma had made frequent appearances, distanced itself quickly. Producers quietly cancelled an upcoming reunion special where she was set to appear. Claressa, too, found one of her major sponsorships, a fitness brand, paused their contract, pending further review. The industry was watching, and no one wanted to be caught on the wrong side. Y'all really think I want Papoose? Respectfully, that man married. That ain't my lane. Stop playing with my name. Her tone was confident, composed, and unapologetic. Fans were split once again. The debate intensified. As if the situation couldn't get more unpredictable, another voice entered the chat. Fat Joe, the Bronx rapper and longtime friend of Remy Ma, weighed in during a podcast appearance. His message was clear: both these queens are strong. I hope they work it out. But this ain't a good look. For them. For us. For the culture. His comments struck a nerve, especially when he revealed he'd personally reached out to both. women, urging them to squash the beef behind the scenes. Whether they listened was another story, but while the world debated who was right and who was wrong, something bigger was brewing. A leaked security audio recording from the event surfaced online, captured through a body mic worn by one of the staff members working the backstage entrance. In the clip, background voices could be heard leading up to the altercation. One distinct voice, believed to be Remy's, could be heard saying, "You've been throwing shots for too long, and I've kept it cute. But not tonight." Another voice, presumably Claressa's, responds, "Ain't nobody scared of you. If you have something to say, say it." Then the scuffle begins. The recording added fuel to the fire. It proved the fight wasn't spontaneous. It was the result of a slow build-up. Fans started arguing that this wasn't just drama, it was trauma. The multiple op-eds hit the internet. One viral post read, "When women of color in power clash, the world cheers for destruction. But when white celebs fight, it's tea. This isn't entertainment. It's exploitation." The fight had started a new conversation about media responsibility, race, and double standards in celebrity culture. Despite all of this, there was still one person we hadn't heard from directly, Papoose. After days of silence and speculation, he finally made a post. A video, 1.5 minutes long, sitting on a bench outside a New York studio. Quiet, composed, reflective. They say real men stay quiet. But silence gets twisted too. So let me say this once. I love my wife. I respect Claressa. I never crossed any line. But I could have spoken up sooner. Could have de-escalated things before they hit the fan. I own that. He paused, looking directly at the camera. What happened wasn't about love. It was about pride. And now two women who should have been building each other up are being torn apart online. That's on all of us. The video ended with him urging fans to stop choosing sides and start promoting healing instead of hashtags. That night, for the first time in days, the mood online shifted, the memes slowed. The thick pieces deepened. The outrage softened into dialogue, but one question remained. Can either of these women recover their public image after such a public fall? And more importantly, was this the end of the story, or just the beginning? In the aftermath of the explosive brawl between Remy Ma and Claressa Shields, one thing was clear, the shockwaves were far from over. While both women had spoken out, clarified their positions, and gained their share of defenders and critics, the world continued to dissect every frame, every quote, and every post connected to that infamous night. But now came the hardest part, picking up the pieces. Remy Ma, known for her resilience, wasted no time shifting her focus. Behind the scenes, her team worked overtime on damage control. Scheduled appearances were restructured. Interviews were rescheduled. Brand partners were reassured. According to one insider, Remy held a private meeting with her management and PR teams just days after the incident. She's been through worse, the source said. She's not folding. But she knows the world is watching how she moves next. One of her first major moves was reaching out to mental health advocates and publicly announcing a new initiative, Queens Reclaiming Peace, a program meant to help women in the entertainment industry cope with pressure, conflict, and trauma. Though some called it a PR stunt, others applauded the gesture. "She's flipping the narrative," one industry vet tweeted. From scandal to service. Meanwhile, Claressa Shields took a different approach and leaned into her brand of raw authenticity. Instead of apologizing or rebranding, she embraced the narrative head-on. "I'm not about to let one moment define my legacy," she said during an Instagram Live Q&A. "I'm still undefeated in the ring. That ain't ever changed." And it hadn't. Days later, Claressa appeared in a Sports Illustrated feature highlighting her accomplishments and resilience as a black female athlete in a male-dominated industry. The article, which briefly acknowledged the altercation, focused primarily on her career, her upbringing, and her plans for the future. One quote stood out: "People want to see us fall. But every time they do, I stand taller. I don't need a ring to prove who I am the ring." Public sentiment began to shift. A new hashtag emerged, #ProtectPowerfulWomen, urging fans to look beyond the drama and acknowledge the pressures women like Remy and Claressa face in the spotlight. Feminist writers began contributing essays about the toxic expectations placed on black women in the media. A wave of support poured in from unexpected places, including fellow celebrities. Cardi B tweeted, "Y'all act like y'all never snapped before. Let these women breathe and grow." Amanda Seales posted, "We gotta stop watching pain like it's a sport. This whole industry thrives off pitting women against each other." Even 50 Cent, known for fueling beefs, posted a meme of Remy and Claressa photoshopped into a WWE match with the caption, "Might as well cash out on it at this point. Moneybag Collision Crown." It was satire, yes, but it underscored the truth. The entertainment industry eats up conflict, especially between women, and turns it into content. In the weeks that followed, VH1 announced a special roundtable episode called When Queens Collide, the Remy vs. Claressa Fallout, hosted by journalist Jemel Hill. Both women were invited. Remy agreed to participate. Claressa declined. Instead, Claressa announced her own upcoming documentary series, The Real Fight, set to stream on a major platform. The series would address not only the viral altercation but also the behind-the-scenes politics of fame, identity, and mental health in the world of elite athletes. And while the public remained divided, both women began to reclaim their own narratives. But what about Papoose, the man at the center of it all, whether by choice or not, had become the subject of intense scrutiny. After his public statement, he largely retreated from the spotlight. No new music drops. No major public appearances. A few fans speculated that he was lying low to support his wife. Others believed he was waiting for the dust to settle before speaking again. Then, out of nowhere, a clip leaked out. A private conversation between Papoose and an unnamed producer surfaced online, allegedly recorded weeks before the fight. In it, Papoose is heard expressing concern about the rising tension between Remy and Claressa. They both have strong personalities. I see it building. It's like a powder keg. You worried something might pop off? The other voice asks. I just want peace, Papoose responds. But peace ain't popular right now. The leak shocked many. It seemed to support the idea that the drama was real, not scripted, not staged, and definitely not for attention. But it also made people ask, if he saw it coming, why didn't he do more to stop it? That question, however, was never directly answered. Instead, Remy Ma and Papoose were later spotted together at a youth mentorship event in the Bronx, hand in hand. Smiling, delivering a speech about forgiveness, unity, and controlling one's own story. They looked strong, unshaken. It's easy to judge people when they're down, Remy told the crowd. But character shows in how you get back up. It wasn't long after that event that rumors began swirling that Remy and Claressa had actually spoken privately, not face-to-face, but over the phone, through mutual contacts. Nothing was confirmed. No statements were made. But some insiders claimed the conversation happened, and that it was civil, if not emotional. They both said their piece, said a source close to one of the publicists involved. They may not be friends again, maybe never were, but at least there's understanding. In a world where celebrity feuds often end with lawsuits or years of silence, even that small moment of closure felt like progress. As of now, both women have resumed their respective careers, perhaps wiser, perhaps warier, but definitely not defeated. Remy Ma is back in the studio, teasing a new album reportedly titled Battle Scars. She's also launching a podcast series centered around women in hip-hop and conflict resolution. Her first guest? None other than Cardi B. Claressa, meanwhile, is training for her next fight and expanding her nonprofit aimed at empowering girls in underprivileged communities through boxing and mentorship. Both are walking forward, battle-tested, but not broken. And if this saga taught us anything, it's that even when queens clash, they still rise, because while the cameras may have caught the brawl, the real story was never just about a fight. It was about identity, pride, pressure, and what happens when powerful women refuse to be reduced to headlines. This explosive clash between Remy Ma and Claressa Shields wasn't just a viral headline. It was a powerful reminder of what happens when pressure, pride, and public perception collide. But now it's time to look beyond the fight and ask the real questions. Why do we expect perfection from public figures but cheer when they fall? Why do we pit powerful women against each other instead of pushing for unity? If you followed this story,